My name is Hani Asad. I'm co-founder and chief portfolio and risk officer of Avance Capital. We manage a fund of funds to invest across emerging markets. Prior to establishing Avance Capital in 2011, we were heading the funds group at IFC, and we've been investing in funds for the past 2 decades and focused entirely on emerging markets. So in the VC space, we see a huge growth. In 2021, there were over 604 companies invested in the VC space alone. That is more than double of 2020 in terms of companies that have received funding in Africa. When you look at the continent, we look at 4 VC ecosystems. There's Egypt, there is Nigeria, there's Kenya, and there is South Africa. In terms of exits, about 5% of exits in Africa overall were in IPOs, so it ranges. And by the way, from my knowledge, developed markets are not that far off. They're somewhere around the 10%. We look at, can we combine early stage with first time, with established, with growth funds, so that we can, for our investors, they get a very diversified portfolio. In Egypt, we found that there are a number of funds that allow us to adopt this approach in a prudent and commercial return-focused way.
My name is Hani Sumbati. I'm one of the founders of Sawari Ventures, along with Ahmed Alfi and Wael Amin. Sawari Ventures is a growth stage venture capital that focuses on Egypt and North Africa. Sawari was founded 10 years ago, just before the Arab Spring. A few years later, Wael joined us and we decided to raise our first dedicated fund, which is a $70 million investment vehicle. We fundamentally believe that this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity as Egypt and Egyptian companies join the digital era. If you contrast then and now, almost everything has changed. The adoption by the general public and by the LPs that there is an investing opportunity in this space. The ambition of the entrepreneurs taking bigger risks. There's a deeper pool of capital across all stages. You know, when everything is in its place, the right entrepreneurs, the right LPs, the right GPs come in one place, there's a massive explosion. And that's what happened in the last 18 months. You've had some high-profile exits, like Uber buying Careem. We've been involved with the SPAC listing of Swvl, which was a monumental occasion given the company was 5 years old and ended up on NASDAQ. There's a high degree of liquidity coming in from later stage fund and PE funds.
Hi, my name is Karim Hussein. I'm a managing partner at Algebra Ventures. We have 2 funds. Our first one was a $54 million fund. Our second fund is 100 plus. We're focused primarily on Egypt. Finished my PhD in computer science at MIT. Chose to shift careers and start a business, and eventually sold that and became part of the Oracle Insurance Suite. And I got the opportunity to lead technology and products at WebMD and helped build that company over the following 7 years, and also took the company public back in 2005. In 2011, I decided to move back to Egypt. From 2011 to 2015, I saw a bunch of very exciting new entrepreneurs enter the market, build exceptional businesses. There was no institutional funding in the country. We were able to raise money from some select LPs, global development finance institutions like the IFC, EBRD, Egyptian American Enterprise Fund, as well as private money from Cisco and several other family offices in the region. We invested in 21 companies, of which I'd say 9 or 10 of them are stars. We've already exited 3 of them. We expect to see many more companies going public in the market in Egypt. So as we look at the market today, it's changed dramatically from 5 years ago by any scale. The quality of the entrepreneurs, their experience, the size of the rounds and the opportunities people are going after, the growth rates are unheard of. The other exciting thing we're seeing is, even in our own portfolio, is an expansion outside of Egypt. So they're looking at their product from a global perspective.
My name is Tariq Fahim. I'm the managing partner and founder of Endure Capital. Endure Capital is a venture capital fund. We primarily invest in startups at the very early stage. Recently, we are doubling down and focusing on Africa more and Egypt more specifically. If you try to understand what's happening currently in Africa and Egypt more specifically, you will find that there's a huge difference, even for universities. Now you have funds for universities. This is an inflection point. So this is why when we see all these elements of the ecosystem, it makes sense to be investing in Egypt and Africa. So Fund 1, it wasn't a big fund, it was only $20 million fund coming from 57 LPs. At that time, nobody was talking about this asset class. To convince them wasn't an easy job. We invested in 47 companies across the globe. We had the biggest exit, and that was our first exit at year 4 of the fund. That was an exit for $3 billion to Careem. For our Fund 1, we have a 47% IRR. Back in the days, maybe several years ago, there was this notion that the overall market is of a specific size and cannot be expanded. Fowry proved us wrong. We grew 10x almost while they were publicly traded only in the Egyptian stock market. Most of the people think of the current size as the limitation or the limiting factor. In reality, no, there's a lot of people who are not yet investing in public markets. Egypt is the gateway for Africa, and at the same time it is the gateway for Middle East in general.
Hi, it's Dina Shinoufi. I'm the Chief Investment Officer at Flat 6 Labs and also the General Partner for the new upcoming fund, Africa Seed Fund. Flat 6 Labs aims to be the first institutional check for most technology startups in Egypt and mostly around the Middle East. We've so far invested in close to 350 companies over the 11 years we've been around. So, I mean, the market has moved a lot in the past decade, a lot. We went from, and I think these are the two anecdotes that I always use. In our first cohort, October 2011, we struggled to find 5 to 6 good companies that I'd be willing to put $10,000 to $15,000 in. Now I struggle to limit my cohort to 10 companies that I'm putting $100,000 to $150,000 in. A big role of the Flat 6 Labs was to create the ecosystem, which was almost non-existent. So the culture was very different. 10 years on, entrepreneurship is the coolest thing in town, right? Failure is now accepted. It's not feared. So things have changed. We're very happy with the movement, with the government attention to entrepreneurship and supporting entrepreneurship. The average age of a founder when Flat 6 Labs started in 2011 was 24. Now it's actually closer to 35. We had the luck and also a blessing of having the IFC as our first ever institutional LP. Last year alone in the Middle East, there's been around 40 odd exits that have been created. Predominantly 70% of those were M&As and trade sales. However, we've also seen IPOs. We've seen the like of Swivel that has IPO'd on Nasdaq, and before that there was Fowry, and before that there was Anghami, with an overall exit value in the past 12 months that exceeds $7 billion. There's also interest by the international VCs, the likes of Tiger and Sequoia, that have now come into the market.
Hi, my name is Mazen Nadim, and I'm one of the managing partners at Foundation Ventures. Foundation Ventures is an early stage VC fund, mainly focused on the Egyptian market. Moving into Fund 2, we've taken much more of a geographical approach, support companies that use Egypt as a launch pad. If you look at India back in 2016, today almost 85% of the population being banked. I think this creates a very interesting narrative to what's happening right now in Egypt. Fund 2 is basically a replica of Fund 1, where we're doubling down on our strategy within Egypt and the region. In terms of fund size, we will not increase our fund more than $50 million. We're currently almost at that finish line, and hopefully we'll be able to deploy from that by the end of this year.
In terms of global VC fund managers, we see coming into the Egyptian market, and some of them are actually establishing funds that are focused entirely on Egypt, which tells you that there are opportunities here.
My name is Courtney Powell, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer and Managing Partner of 500 Global, which was founded 12 years ago in Silicon Valley with the belief that talented founders exist in all corners of the world. Today, with nearly $3 billion in assets under management, we're excited to continue on our mission. We're proud to have more than 45 unicorns in our portfolio, with nearly 40% being non-US based. Egypt is a market we all know well. We've been investing in Egyptian seed stage startups for over a decade, and today have more than 80 Egyptian companies in our portfolio. We have found exceptional founders in Egypt who are ready to serve the largest market in the Arab world and beyond, such as social commerce platform Breemord, online home furniture startup HomeSmart, an online grocery delivery service Breadfast, and many more. We believe MENA and Africa more broadly are well on their way to seeing even more unicorns come to life and create tremendous economic and social benefit in their ecosystem.
Hi, my name is Noor Suwaid. I am the managing partner at Global Ventures. Global Ventures is a Dubai-based venture capital firm that invests across all of the Middle East and all of Africa. We have 54 companies across our portfolios. Our two funds combined are $200 million. Since we first invested in Egypt, the ecosystem has grown tremendously. Over the last 4 years, since Global Ventures was first active, we've seen the whole region grow. We've seen regulators support founders. We've seen this across fintech, across health tech, across every single sector. So when we think about the Egyptian market, we think about it as an opportunity for the population, for the demographic. We think about it as an interesting point where Africa meets the Middle East, and our strategies reflect this.
So we're now seeing an emergence of new players who are actually, sometimes they're a spin out from another fund, sometimes there are entrepreneurs who've been successful in their businesses coming back and investing in other entrepreneurs through funds or through angel investment syndicates. We're also seeing the formalization of some of these investment networks into funds, which is actually another part of that growth of the entire ecosystem. These opportunities, and you'll explore some of them in terms of smaller domestic VC-focused funds, are providing that depth in the market that we look for as opportunities for investors.
My name is Amal. I'm the founding and managing partner for Lotus Capital, a new VC fund in Egypt focused on inclusive growth and sustainability. We're a $35 million fund investing at the early stage in sustainable solutions that are driving digitalization and green innovation in Egypt. Over 15 DFIs have subscribed to allocating capital to gender lens investing across asset classes. And this is something where I saw a real global commitment towards gender equity translated into dollars towards that. So I think there's a strong appetite from LPs.
Hello, my name is Islam Darwish and I'm the founding general partner of the Include investment platform recently launched in Egypt. We have already $100 million of committed capital and we have a target fund size of $150 million. At Include, we love everything fintech, but the reason we love fintech primarily is because it sits at the intersection of commercial opportunity and impact. Include is more than just a fund, it's an investment and an innovation platform. We also not only invest in Egyptian startups, but we also invest in startups across Middle East Africa that are looking to expand their operations into the Egyptian markets. Our team is ultimately a bunch of fintech geeks or fintech geeks in the making. We are incredibly excited and thrilled by the fact that Include is backed by Egypt's leading national banks, including Bank Misr, the National Bank of Egypt, and Bank Dukair.
My name is Rafi' Saleh. Along with Paul Bregel, I'm the founding partner of Qubit Ventures. We're an Egypt-focused fund with a bit of participation in North Africa as well. We're building a $20 million fund. We've done our first close. We're looking for founders that are solving acute problems and creating solutions that don't exist. Paul, having this connection with Founders Institute as well, being one of the mentors on the VC Lab program, he has his network, his global network through his funds across the world.
So he's in Southeast Asia, he's in Africa, in Sub-Saharan Africa, he's in Latin America, he's in the US, he's in Central Europe, he's in Europe. And he brings all of this network, including investors, venture capital funds, and portfolio companies as stakeholders for our portfolio companies.
The ecosystem in Egypt is developing quite well. We're bringing in new players into the market. All of this makes the ecosystem stronger. So the market offers us opportunities for all investors to come in and play a role. Again, I emphasize that, make money and produce impact. It is very important for us to think of partnerships among investors. Investors are not competing for deals. Investors come together and it's a partnership in working together on the entire ecosystem first and then on specific funds together because we are partners in the funds. So how do we enhance those kind of relationships and partnerships so that we can actually generate more capital for companies that deserve to be funded?